Welcome to another session of SQL. In this session, quickly we are going to discuss one interview problem. So it's an interview question on aggregate. It's a simple one, but it's tricky as well. Okay, so let's start with our SQL and what is the interview question. So the interview question is from a given sales order table. This is the sales order table. Create a view having total sales column, total sales percentage column by salesperson ID, and what is expected in the outcome or output of the view select query. It's like 3 columns: sales person ID, total sales, and total sales percentage. Okay, so let's begin. What we will do, how to tackle this problem. First we need to look into the table. So this is our sales table. We can see in the table structure, these are the column we have, and this is a regular sales table. We have sales order ID and then multiple dates, and then we have customer ID, salesperson ID, and the total sales amount. If we look into the problem, like we should always first check, okay, what columns are needed to solve this problem. So what we are needing here is just a 2 column, salesperson ID and the total sales. Okay, so how we are going to tackle this? What is the first we should understand what is the percentage of total sale, right? So definition of total sale percentage should be something like so salesperson ID by like sum of sales amount. If we know for per salesperson ID what is the total sales amount, then if we divide this with total sales amount, okay, so we will get the salesperson ID per sales percentage ID. It's simple. I mean, how you can do that. So first you need to know how the total sales amount, and then we will aggregate this table on the salesperson ID column and sum of total sales, which is total div. So let's quickly write our queries. So what is the total sale? If you want to get total sales, the sum of from the sales order. This is total due. So select total due from the sales order table. This is the name of table. Okay, so this is total sales amount, and then what we want is salesperson ID per salesperson ID total sales amount. So this is a very simple aggregate query. We can simply copy this query, paste it here. We can salesperson ID and sum of total due. So this total due will be sales amount per person ID, and then you will just simply do group by salesperson ID. So these 2 queries together are giving us what is needed. So what is needed here is, okay, now we know that, okay, per salesperson ID, this is the total sale, and this is the total sale amount. So if somehow we can divide this column by this value, we will get the percentage per total sale percentage column as well. Okay, so we already achieved 2 columns. So we just need the 3rd column, and this 3rd column is the tricky part of this interview question. Okay, so if you think of in the normal method, right, if somehow you can have this value, and I mean you can divide here this value somehow, if we can divide this value with sum of everything, okay, sum of everything like this one, but You cannot do it here. The reason, because while doing a group by with salesperson ID, it will always give the sales respect of salesperson ID, so you cannot write it in this query. Okay, but you want, if you want to divide it, you should have a mechanism, right? So what we can think of, if you know about variables, right, in SQL. So let's say where, let's define its big int, and what we will do, we are going to keep this value in this variable. Okay, so by this way, now you can run this. This value is here. If you will print this, if you want to see this value, this variable can hold this value. And now what we were saying here, if we are somehow able to divide that value with where, and if it is a percentage, so let's multiply by 100, and then when you run this, right, so now, sorry, we'll run it together, you are getting the percentage as well, right? So if you are dividing that value with the total percentage, now you are getting the total percentage. If you sum it up, you will be getting 100%. Let's give the name of this column as a total sale percentage, and this is the select query we want in our output. Okay, it looks like, okay, we have solved our problem. It's simple, right? We have solved it. But now just again read the question. The question is, so we have written a query, okay, but the question is create a view. We have not created a view. Okay, so let's try to create a view. So I will open a new window, and let's, you know how to create a view. So create a view, just to give name of view as a view total sale, something like that, and then we want this select query here. Okay, now this is how we create a view. And let's just try to create this view now. And when you try to create a view, now you see that, okay, you cannot declare a variable inside a view. Okay, so then what to do? Because if you cannot declare a variable here, then you cannot divide it by the variable. Then we are again having the same problem. Okay, so let's think of something else here. Variable will solve a problem in query, or you can write it in the procedure, USP proc, but you cannot use it in the view. Okay, so one question, now you got it, that you cannot use variables in view. Okay, this is one thing, you got it. So we are not going to solve this way. So let's how we can then do it. Okay, so let's have another way. So somehow let's get this value here, try to get this value. So let's write it like this, as total sale, and then, you know, this I am creating CT, common table expression. If I think you know, all know about the common table expression. And this is what I'm creating here. Somehow this total sale value, if we can get it here in place of where, right, we can solve this problem. Because I 100% know that, okay, I can use CTE within views, not the variable, but CTE 100% we can use it. So, but you see, if there is a joining condition between these two tables, I mean the CT one and then the sales order table, then you can use this table value here some way, right? But you don't have a joining condition. Then how to tackle these problems? Okay, so such problems, for such problem, you can use cross join. Yeah. So why cross join? Because cross join, as you know, we call it join, but it's a Cartesian product of the two table. It's not a join. Basically, it doesn't need a joining condition. So quickly we can use a cross join. You should have a very good understanding of cross join, and we all read it, but we don't use it practically. And this is a very good example where you can always have use cross joins. Okay, so this is an example here. So now as we joined the CT now using cross join, and you know this query will always return just one row, in fact one value. So we are always good with the cross join. Why? Because this query, whatever like number of rows this query will return, and you are going to have a Cartesian product with one value, so it is not going to increase your rows. Okay, so rows will remain same because you are multiplying, let's say 5,000 rows multiplied by 1, it's again result will be 5,000 rows only. So now as we join these two tables, now we can use this value in as a division here. Okay, what we used with the variable earlier. When you try to run this query, you can run it, but you will get a problem of aggregate because we are not aggregating this here, right? So this column should come here because when in the join condition, this is a simple column. So as we are now using this column and this column along with the aggregate function, we should have both in the group by. Now run it, and now you have the result. You can see now it's the same result, only the order change. You can verify it later with the both queries. Okay, so let's copy this query because I want to create a view. So let's copy this query in place of this declare variable. I can use this view. Now just create. You can see there is no error. Just run this. Okay, view is created. Views are simple as a virtual table, not the temp table, as a virtual table. Now I can select from this view and you will be always getting this result. Okay, so this is how we can tackle such question. So always think when you want to use a value with another query, but there is no joining condition, right? With the join, you can always use the columns of the two tables here and there. But when you have, let's say, single column or single value, and you want to use it with other query, so there we use cross join, and that's the use of cross join. Okay, so I hope this will help you. This is very tricky interview question. It looks simple, but I know that many people, mostly like most of the people, 60%, 70% people fail in this question. They try to use variable, which is a good way to use it, but that variable will work with the procedure, but not the views. And you cannot create, select the procedures in your select query. So that's why, it is not possible that first you create procedure, then with that variable, and then try to select asterisk from that procedure. It doesn't work because you cannot write procedure in select queries. Okay, so this is one way to tackle this question. There's another way. You can use window function to have this all total value. That's going to be a complex way because this is a very simple method to tackle, and performance wise as well, this is a very well written performance wise question. Okay, so we are done with this problem. We solved it. Our output is always giving us these three columns as asked: salesperson ID, total sales amount, and then total sales percentage. Okay, yeah, and we learned that you cannot use variable within views. I will explain maybe in some other video why you cannot use temp table and the variable within views. And in fact, in other words, even you cannot use the temporary table in the functions as well, but you can use variable there, but not the functions, not the temp table. So you cannot use temp table here, you cannot use variable here. So you have only way to use it CT, but when you use CT, there is no joining condition here. So how to join these two two tables, one CT table, other total sales sales order table. So the joining condition is not needed here because we can simply use cross join, and cross join doesn't need any joining condition. Yeah, so that was the video for today. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, it solved your problem, please like the video, subscribe the channel, and looking forward to you for another session. Thank you.